go. All right. Just to satisfy, since in my previous one I did for the Harley Benton M-84, the one with the single pickup, people said, oh, I couldn't wait 5-10 minutes to hear how the bass sounded, so do you have a little bit of just quick sound sampling of it. It's not a review, it's just me as a hobby bassist telling what I felt about this bass when I got it. I have had basses up to around $1,000, and the sweet spot has previously, before the Harley Benton, for me was around $600 to $800, where I really got good value for the money. I think it was like Marusuk something Jake 4P. That was my really great bass sound finish, anything for the price around like 700. So but Benton basses really since I think since I got the single coil single pickup version, where I really felt that there's a great quality here. Just to start off, so these are not the strings that came with the bass. It came with the Dario EXL. It's up to, is it 1.5 set? I can check it. Yeah, EXL 0.45 to 105. This is Ernie Ball, Flatwound, Slinky, Cobalt. It's 55 to 110, I believe. So this is 110, and it is tuned to E. No, not E. Damn it! Now it's morning. To B. So B, E, A, D. The bass will come open string. It will be tuned E, A, D, G with the Dario strings for you. These are Flatwound, but they are quite bright. I've played for them for about a week, so they still have a lot of sing in them. Lot of sing, and the bass is being run through my Behringer 202 HD card and run into amplitube. I've turned it into direct mode, We'll turn it into amplify mode later on just to show you a little bit how it sounds. But this is the kind of clean single in. Very clean single in. So let's talk about this bass. The first impression when I got it was that I liked the finish. It's looked very nice. There are very little minor kind of gluting here if you start like going in microscope level, but just looking at it on all of the kind of levels, I found no, there was no like visible thing that pops up to me as a bad finish. Looks very solid, very nice all around. Very happy with the finish. All the way to the headstock. It's a little bit not the best camera here to show it off. I apologize for that. Doing the best here, trying to move back to get the bass as much in frame as possible. But yeah, that was the first impression. The next impression is that the bass is on the heavier side. I don't know exact. I don't have a scale, and Thomann will not put this specification on the webpage. I don't know why. A bit sad about that. The total package, it came, the bass and in a packed itself in a carton, and then you have another like box on top of that. It was specified to be around 7 kilograms. I believe the bass is around 4.5. It's on the heavier side. That was the first kind of the first thing here popping out me. The next is that it is neck heavy. Like really, it really is crazy, If you are going to play it, you're gonna have to use your left hand to support it. Because it just, even when I have it with my strap on, the first thing I just hang it even dipped with the strap, so I had to like adjust that a little bit. So you're not going to have to support it. It actually works quite nice if you have a strap, even when sitting down. So you can see it's like floating by itself a little bit, so you don't have to hold it too much with your left. I mostly play standing with the straps, and everything, so it's not really a big problem. I play this for like 2 hours in a row, and you can start feeling it on the shoulder, the weight. So you get a good strap for this, and probably use the strap even when sitting down. Probably gonna help, offload a little bit of it and try. But yeah, be ready for, the neck to dip. The next thing that I noticed, so in the box, Thomann ships it with a cheap cord. This is not it. This is a better one. I don't get it. I've had it on the single pickup version also, and the previous bass before this was the Harley Benton enhanced MP4 I had. It did not have that cable with it. But on the cheaper basses, they seem to ship this cheap cable. They don't use that. It's like an arm and a half long, and it's bad quality. It's just worthless to include. They don't include any battery though. So the next thing that I've noticed was I had to play this acoustic. I had no 9 volts battery in my house, and I wasn't at the moment just ready to get one. So I played this just with the pick and the Dario strings, and what I noticed was how good it sounds just playing acoustic. Like it really has a nice, you can't hear this unfortunately, but it has a really nice bite. It's really punchy, nice, bright, kind of bright sound. So it was really, promising before plugging it in, that it has some good quality. But yeah, and the next thing is it is P-bass kind of thickness, 42 millimeter, and it has a thicker radius here, I'm fine with the radius actually. I would have preferred, this is personal taste, but I prefer 38 millimeters, something like that. But it's fine. It is on the, on the thicker neck side. No problems though with that for me. But, just so you know, it also felt a little bit longer than my enhanced MP4 when playing it to reach the first frets, but it's probably just adjusting the strap position and stuff like that, but it felt a little bit more reach out. And the first bad thing that I noticed was then when I started trying, this is, let's go through the specifications before we go into the bad. So you have basswood on the body, and you have, this nice maple neck, big maple fretboard. It's a bolt-on neck. You can see the battery cavity there. That's, the battery cavity here. You have a double action truss rod. This is a 34-inch scale, from the bridge to the nut, 34-inch. Big open back tuners, maybe you can see that. I love the look of it. And a low mass kind of bridge here. It works really nice, this bridge, especially with the 0.10 strings here. And even in, it came very well set up. You tune it up and you go good to go with the standard strings. But I swapped to the 0.10 for, and trying to play in B, E, A, D. I had to intonate it. And obviously since it's less tension, since the B string is only 110, it's still quite good tension, but I would have liked more tension for it. I had to adjust truss rod, and raise, the strings, get rid of fret buzz and stuff, but it intonates it perfectly fine, the bridge, everything. There's still headroom to do more tuning, so I feel that if you want to tune this with like thicker strings in B, it's probably gonna work if you file the nut down. Maybe have to file a little bit on the bridge saddles, but there's plenty of headroom, so it should work really well. And I did that on the, the single pickup version. I file down and have heavier gauge. This is just because I wanted to try how having a thinner B would punch through, and I think that is actually, I love it. I just wish that there were 0.10 sets with higher tension available in Flatwound or whatever, just a bit higher tension, so I could lower them a little bit more closer to the fretboard. But it's very playable for me, and I love it, how this worked out actually. So that is the hardware, and you have these two Musicman styled humbuckers. It's Roswell is the maker, I believe. Yeah. Let's see, that I think it's a specification here. A bridge is apparently a DLX diecast. I don't think that says a lot, not to me at least, but yeah. And you have this 3-tone sunburst. It's Canadian maple apparently. Maple seems to be a very nice quality. But yeah, one of the final thing that I noticed also before getting into the bad is that this is one of the basses with the best fret work that I've had. It is like very, very good. It's better than on the enhanced MP4 that is 120, I think it was about 120, 140 euros more expensive when I bought it. This is just 200 euros, just below that. it's just circling around the 200 euros, probably around the $200 mark too, maybe. So $100+ euros more expensive bass from them had slightly worse. It was still really good on that, but you know, sometimes if you could just slightly feel it, and this was just absolutely much better. It's a really, you know, really good. It's probably it's not in the 1,000 euros class range, but it's for this price. It's really top notch. I don't feel I have to like it's gonna hurt me or anything, or you can barely feel it when I'm playing or anything. Not really feeling it at all when playing, and not even. They really did a great work on the neck. So yeah, get into the bad thing. This is, well, I guess I forgot to mention the hardware. This is a 3-band EQ, bass, mid, treble, volume, and then you have a 5-way selector. But yeah, the first thing that I noticed was the pots are feeling very cheap, and they were wobbly. So when I turn it, it's scratched against this metal plate, and I had to, which can be difficult if you don't know how, you know, the pots are working, if you're new to bass, and this is a low price, so it's gonna be aimed at, you know, a lot of, you know, new player are gonna get it. So you have to like pull it up, because this is just like rubber expansive material within it, and then you just push down here, and they have pushed it all the way into the bottom. So it was a little bit wobbly, and it was scratching really hard against this. It still is a little bit. I should probably, you know, try to pull it up a little bit more. But you need to just grab it and pull it up, and then kind of adjust it so it didn't scratch. I have to do this for like all of them in some way, and they are still a little bit. They feel a little bit slight wobble to them, and yeah, that they are very. It feels very cheap, and you need to be aware. But I'm not gonna be like using them all the time, so it's not something's going to be popping up against me. But if you use your 3-band EQ like several times during playing, you're gonna feel that a lot, and you need to adjust it by just pulling up on this, on the pots, and then so it doesn't scratch, and that you can use them smoothly. And you're gonna feel it might be a slight wobbling when you do that. So yeah, selector switch works fine, very distinctive, and you have a middle notch, which I think is fine, because it is, to my knowledge, boost and cut. So if you want a neutral sound, it should be in the middle, and you have that notch to really tell you that you are there. So that's really good to have. But yeah, the next, you know, obviously negative is, you're gonna say it, is that there is no 9-volt battery included. I think it should be the same price, the cable or 9-volt battery. So if you just get this bass, you plug it in, and then if you're new to the bass world, it could be very easy for you to be like, wow, this bass sounds like shit, or I don't think it's even working, but you know, something is wrong with it. So including like a 9-volt battery with a short instruction, here you have a battery. If the bass stops blah 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 working or sound weird, exchange the battery. So they don't have to support that, because battery life, as long as the cable is in, it's gonna drain the battery. So me just sitting here talking is draining the battery. So you need to unplug it if you don't want the bass to drain. And there is no active passive switch, which is to me a huge downside. One of the bigger ones actually with this bass. To have that safety of being able to run a bass in passive mode is really a lifesaver, and really good to have. And I really like passive sounding basses. So to me that's weird, because most of the other basses, even basses in the same price range with 3-band EQ, has active passive switch. So to not include it on this bass, I'm not sure why. It feels bad. And the last bad thing is that this headphone jack it is super, like I need to really like grab it to pull it out. And this can be bad if you're a new player. It's very easy to want to grab the cord, and you never do that. You can so easily break it and cause all kinds of problem. You need to grab it by the metal and pull it out, and that is like, I'm using quite a force and it won't budge. So I like really like that. But maybe we should go to just do some quick, very basic scale movement to show off the sound of. Start with the preamp maybe, just to show you the preamp, what it does. So again, just flat. Let's a popular sound is obviously cutting the mid, so let's cut the mid all the way. Let's boost the mid. It might have a slightly distorted there, and that obviously is because you might need to adjust the signal. So if there is a slight overdrive distortion there, it's not due to the, the boosted mid, it's the signal. If you're gonna use the preamp to boost and cut a lot, you need to leave headroom for in your amplifier or whatever computer, so you don't are near the maximum. I'm quite near the max, unfortunately. I apologize for that. Let's play a bit softer there so it doesn't clip. But yeah, that's the mid. Let's try treble next. In the middle, you have heard it already, so let's cut it. It works, but it could be more powerful, I feel, the treble cutting. I'm gonna boost it, but this is a Cobalt Flatwound, so it won't get you the same zing as the round would give. Let's turn plectrum and boost it up all. It's a 1mm plectrum to kind of try to get the most like zing out of these strings as is possible. Just to compare how the range is, so let's do that. Back to the middle, and let's cut all of the bass. And boost. I'm gonna try to play softer so it doesn't clip, because it's very obviously easy to overdrive the signal here if you don't have set signal to a nice level so it can adjust for the boost and cutting. There you hear it is definitely overdrive cutting here, so soften it up. And in the middle. So there you have the kind of basic, just what the 3-band EQ does. I don't feel it is. I prefer the EQ on the MP4 enhanced, the bass and treble. I felt they were have more range and more better sound. It could just be, the setup of that bass and that pickups and everything. I believe they might share the same like big humbucking pickup, but I don't know. I felt that was higher quality. And this is also something, this is a cheap bass, and I think they should have skipped the active, to be quite honest, because it's very easy, as you hear, if you're a new player, to overdrive your signal, and that can cause a lot of problems. It's better if you're a new player to not have this kind of, you know, thing. It's very easy if you're playing in a band and you want to hear yourself, you just crank the bass all the way, and you're just gonna make a muddy sound. You're gonna risk distorting and, you know, causing all signal problems and stuff with your amplifier. So I don't know, it's there, you know how it is. I don't think they should be on a cheap bass, but that's my personal opinion, and I don't think that they feel really that great, to be quite honest. I don't know, it doesn't feel as good as the MP4, and the bass works. Treble seems to have a little bit too little range. I would have want more cut and boost range. The mid, you know, you're stuck with that frequency. If that's not the frequency you like, it's you know, it's not a usable control, unfortunately. But maybe we should try something fun. We cut. Let's go with this pick. We cut the mid. We boost the treble. We keep the bass pretty much the same, a little bit turned down. You know, it's still working very nice. You can still get the kind of metal sound or rock sound, and if you use them with, you know, the strings that come with them, or some nice high quality round ones, it's gonna really bite. So it's not, you know, it's not a terrible one, but so yeah. Excuse moi. So it is, it's there, it's working, and you can definitely use it. Yes, not my personal, not really a fan of it, but we have here it's gonna get more interesting. The selector switch. I'm gonna, so Thomann, they do have schematic, or like, you know, they are telling you how the switch is working. So we're gonna just do a quick rundown. Again, trying to just the B scale there, B minor scale. So this is the first position, which is this pickup. I don't know if this is normal, but according to this diagram, they are using this one, both the coils, and they are being wired in series mode. I believe that, isn't it more normal for Music Man styles to be in humbucker mode? It doesn't sound really bad or anything, but this is in series. This is a humbucker big pickup being wired in series mode in the first position. There we go. And the next, this is a weird position, but the next one, the second one, let me double check. So we have, yeah, exactly, have coils 2 and 4. So you have this one, this coil, and this coil. The coil number 2 and the coil number 4. So this, if we do these two coils running, that's like kind of like a jazz bass, and they aren't even running in humbucker mode. They are running in series mode. There's actually a slight hum coming. It's very low, but it can, depending on your environment, your strings and everything. you might hear it more or less. It is there, it's very slight, so, but it's weird. I don't know why they did this, and it not even in humbucking mode, but all right. And the first thing you're probably gonna notice is that there's a drop in volume. So it's not a bad sounding per se, but it's such a huge drop in volume, and yeah, when you get this bass, you want, you know, the big humbucking sound, you know, of the fat dual coil here, you know, big poles and everything, and it just does sound thin and not really fitting to me. Now here is the more interesting one, my favorite, the third position here, and that is right. So this is more interesting. So you have this coil, this pickup, and now it's wired in humbucking mode. You have this pickup wired in humbucking mode, and they are both running together in series mode. And this is my favorite sound. It sounds thick, good, and I wonder if it is because they are running in humbucking mode now. It might, I don't know. But definitely my favorite. It's really, really great. I'm gonna link below where I'm using this mode with playing with a 2mm thick pick, and it is Evanescence going under. I'm only using the B string and E string in that song, but still you can hear how really massive that sound is, and really, I really think that's nice. And I'm using a little like a slight mid scoop on that song, not using the preamp but the amplitube plugin. But let's move on. So now it's getting even weirder. This is, I don't know if you can hear it, probably not, but this is actually position 3 is just the fourth coil in single, you know, single coil mode. It's just this one, the closest one to the bridge. Again, it's like a jazz bass, but let's play it. And again, it's such a huge volume difference. It's quite you know, noticeable volume difference. So, and again, you don't get a bass like this because you want the sound of a jazz bass bridge pickup in, and maybe that's just me. But moving on, the fifth position is this one, and again they are running it in series mode. I don't know why it's not humbucking mode. It's is this common? Is Music Man bass with just one pickup, are they wired in series mode too? Maybe it is. Maybe it's just me that's wonder why it's not in humbucker mode. Sounds really great though, so it's not, I'm not complaining about it, but I'm just curious why in the middle mode they are in humbucking mode, and when you solo them out they are in series mode. But it is very well balanced and very nice and everything. So one thing that I now forgot to mention is that the pick guard, it seems to be that it should need a little bit more filing, because this pickup seems to be like being squished, because one of the screws this one is, it's, you know, it's a gap between the pickup and the screw itself, meaning that the pickup isn't like it being, it isn't allowed to push up as far as it is should be. So probably the pickguard could need some filing if you're gonna adjust them. They sound good as it is, so I haven't removed the pickguard to see what's happening. I might do that, but yeah, there's no wobbling or anything. That could be meaning that the pickguard is actually squishing against the pickup, forcing them to having less of movement up and down for you to adjust. Just something to notice, but it sounds great as it is. I did very minor adjustment, but yeah. So let's sum this up quickly with the pickup here, because I think that's the weirdest thing. What I think they should have to make this bass, it's a very good value bass. It has like 3 positions I feel is very usable. The kind of yes bass positions, I feel they should not be available, should not be in this bass. It doesn't belong here. Yes, my personal taste. If you find that they sounded awesome and you can make great use of them, that's perfect. I just feel that if you get a bass like this, the sound that offer is not fitting. So what I think they should do is this a cheap bass? I haven't addressed it, but you can't really slap because there is no room here, and that is because I don't slap. So but you can't really, because your fingers are gonna be right on this pickup, so you have to like adjust them to some different positions. That, you know, just to mention. But yeah, what I think they should do, this is a cheaper bass aimed at beginners. They should just toss out this 3-band EQ, make it a passive bass. They should make sure that the pickups are being run in the hum cancelling mode. I don't know if the Sears mode works hum cancelling. It seems to be so. I don't hear any hum here. I can slightly hear it here. So yeah, I can slightly hear it. So to make it cheaper, just toss out this 3-band EQ. Run this once in humbucker mode or Sears mode, just hum cancelling mode. You could just make this a 3-way switch. This one, and this one. And I don't get it why they don't base this bass on the single pickup model. You know, use the same neck and everything. That bass has a matching headstock that this doesn't have. I think it looks better. That bass also has I think it says 21 or 19, 21 maybe frets. So that means that you could probably make it do working for slap bassing also. And that should keep costs down. You can use the same neck on both basses, and you can use the same body, but you need to like just, you know, obviously one model needs to be carved out for this one. Should still be cheaper, and you could even get rid of this one and just use as that bass volume, and a treble instead, and have, you know, this one running in hum cancelling or humbucking mode, and this one, and let you just control the volume of them both. That is better for new players because you can't, you know, overdrive the signal to your amplifier or your computer or something like that, and it's easier. You don't have to worry about battery dying or exchanging batteries or anything, and you should keep the costs down in every single ways. And instead of, you know, that, you know, maybe make a 0 fret. I like that. Take the money that you save and put that on that. Because I don't know, I feel that black pickguard looks better on the single pickup version than this 3-piece kind of pearly pickguard. It doesn't look super high quality, so I think that pure black one looks better, more fitting anyways. And yeah, I think if they did that, or if they wanted to keep, you know, this setup, everything, make it at least switchable between active and passive. It's such a good feature to always have. You know, if you're gigging and battery or something happens, you can quickly check if it is the battery or not by just engaging passive mode. And yeah, it just gives a very good backup to have. But if they wanted to have, also if they wanted to keep this 5-way switch, the mode that is these two should instead be these two, and they should be run in humbucking mode to give this fat hum cancelling sound. And the second position is that, and then the fourth position that just was this one should be this one instead, and again in hum cancelling mode, because that will give you kind of simulation of a really fat you know, this pickup being placed in the middle, and would give you, sit like in a P-bass position, would give you a really interesting sound. There is a bass that has all of this actually, has 3-band EQ, active, passive, and has a 5-way selector switch. With all these modes I said, I believe in humbucking mode, is the Chord Action HH4. I would have wanted to love to get that bass. I think this bass looks better, in my personal opinion. And this bass is $200 cheaper where I live, and it would have been, I would have to been importing the Chord bass and stuff like that. I really would have loved to try that, just due to having the active, passive, and you know, the modes that I said. You know, you have this one, you have them both together, you have this one, and then you have this coil in the middle only, and then only the outer coil. I think that is much better for a bass like this, and wired in hum backing mode to really give a fat sound, all like so that all the modes on the switch are sounding thick and, you know, full. But yeah, Harley Benton MM-84A SB Deluxe series. It's definitely a very, very good value bass. Just some minor things. So here you have another one just telling what he feels about the bass. I'm very happy with it. I haven't had a, you know, dual Musicman style humbucker before, and I gotta say, as I stated, the absolutely favorite sound so far are them both running together, and when they are run, they're in the nice humbucking mode. So I'm gonna link you to the Thomann website for this bass, so you can check it out yourself. And you know, before, obviously, listen to all the sound, search the net to read reviews before you know make your purchase or anything. But I highly am very pleased with it, and to be quite honest, the sound of the single humbucker, the both together, and even this one, I find it, to me personally, is a more fun, cooler sounding sound than the enhanced MP4 based, to be quite honest. The MP4 had a badass P bass. The neck, the bridge pickup sounded not as good as this one for some reason. It's the same pickup, so yeah, that's, you know, thing. I'm gonna end it with one cool thing just to show. I'm gonna do again just some scale thing. I'm gonna start with 1mm pick, and then we're gonna switch to a 2mm thickness pick, because I feel that somehow this bass and everything just really they give quite a nice big difference. And in the song that I'm gonna link, Going Under by Evanescence, the 2mm pick really adds a nice low end, low mid growl to this bass and these strings maybe. So 1mm. Switch again. 2mm thickness. It's a Dunlop Gator grip or pick. I just really feel that this bass and the strings and everything, it really sounds with has something to the low end here, really, with the thicker pick. But let me turn on this absolute final thing. We're gonna turn on amplitube. This is a mid-scooped sound, but it has speaker, simulation and amp simulation to it. We're gonna use this same pick so you can hear it. Everything is set flat here, so. Really thick, and this is the sound that I'm using on the song that I will be linking for you to check. And there's going to be more covers coming on this channel, but to warn you, if you sub, I do a lot of gaming, and I don't know at which rate there's gonna be more covers coming up. Might be one every month or something like that, or even worse. But this has been the Harley Benton MM-84 Deluxe, and it's a really good value series here.